Hello, everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton. And Adam, this is show number 30. And Adam, you are a dad.
I'm a dad, Clark.
Officially.
I'm a dad. You know, we had to take last week off, Clark, because we had some excitement. We were in the hospital. You know, had to get the child here. Had to get sweet Callie Ann, my precious daughter, here. It's exciting, man. I love it. The first week or so right now of fatherhood has been a learning experience, Clark. I'm going to be honest. It's been a learning experience, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. She's an angel, and you can't imagine loving something so much like you can that girl. But Clark, I'm telling you, it's a good time of year to have a child. Let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because when you're sitting there at 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, changing a diaper and a bottle of milk, there's a game of like Iowa versus Michigan, a replay on that you can watch the last 7 minutes. A Penn State versus Michigan, Texas Tech versus, Oklahoma State, something like that. Just there, college football's there to help you during them times.
Yeah.
And also, I couldn't get her to bed the other night, Clark. So let me tell you what I did.
Okay.
I said I need to start singing some lullabies to her. So I came up with a medley of Jesus Loves You, the classic. Right. Jesus Loves You. And then I went into Glory, Glory.
Oh,
I did the Glory, Glory to old Georgia, Georgia. And after I went through a couple of the choruses part of that part, I just went to the instrumental version. The bam, 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 bam. You know, and she loved it.
Yeah.
She loved it. She looked up at me and smiled. So I'm starting it up right. You know, starting to raise a child right.
That's right. It's
been good, man.
Adam, before you know it, she'll be listening to Bob O'Reilly and doing her fourth quarter fingers, you know.
That's it. Good dog fan already. So it's been good. You just got to have the mentality, Clark. You got to have the attitude to get through them nights. No sleep. You got to have some high energy attitude. It's all right. You can sleep when you're dead. Period.
That's it.
Boom. But yes, it's a great time.
That's some good words of wisdom, Adam. We're going to check in with you in about 3 months and see if you're still good.
We're doing good right now. My wife's doing good. Everybody's doing good. Thank y'all for the prayers. Thank you for the congratulations. I saw that on the social media page. Kelsey, my wife, showed me that. So really appreciate that. It means a lot. We have the best fan base and Georgia fans in the world that follow us and reach out to us. So God bless you for that, man. That's exciting.
Yeah. Any words of advice, Adam, for people who are going to eventually have kids like myself?
Well, as a parent of a week now, a week under my belt, it's you go in there, like I said, Clark, it's the mindset. It is the mindset. It's all about going in there with the I can do attitude. Okay. Glass half full approach, like everything in life, Clark. And you get in it and you hunker down. And if there's a dirty diaper or something, you just clean the thing up and you go at it, and lean on your parents. Our parents have been big helps of us. We've been fortunate that standpoint. But if people are thinking about conceiving and having a child, do it. Best experience you ever do. You can love somebody so much. So been a very exciting week, and just keep that attitude right. That's like everything in life. You'll be all right.
Yes, that's great. Good to hear, Adam. Also, something really good to hear too. 10 days. 10 days till kickoff. Baby. Adam, boom! No more footballless, and you came up with that word, Saturdays.
Footballless. Footballless. It's a word, Clark, that hits you because you don't want no football in your life, right?
Right.
So footballless, but we don't have any more Saturdays without college football, baby. Week zero coming up.
It's here.
This Saturday, Clark.
Adam, one thing that
fired up are you?
Oh, I'm super fired up. And
me too.
One thing that really got me jacked up just a minute ago was creating our pick'em for the week, which is coming later in the episode.
Yes.
We're also going to be talking
about first pick'em of the year.
Yes,
baby.
We're going to be talking about the defense, the offense, special teams, names to look out for. We got a lot of new guys, Adam. A lot of names we got to learn because they're going to be the people that fill the shoes of the guys who left last year. So that's coming up in this episode. One quick announcement we will make: our call-in show, first call-in show of the 2022 football season. Baby. Is coming up Friday, September 2nd at 8 o'clock p.m. That is the night before the Oregon game. That Friday night, tune in on Facebook or YouTube. Call us. Please call us. We want to hear from you. We've got a new number. Let me update y'all on that. It's 706-389-5486. call us.
Call us, man.
Save that number.
That is one of my favorite times when we just get to hear from the people. The dog fans out there, just common, like-minded people getting to talk ball. And then especially the night before a big game like that. So it's going to be a great time. Everybody just mark that on your calendars. We want to hear you. We'll take your call. We'll stay however long we have to until everybody who wants to call in and talk some Georgia football with us gets that chance.
Yes.
Mark it down, baby.
And speaking of calling in, Adam, we've tried this new thing with voicemails, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we've actually gotten a lot of calls.
That's good.
But unfortunately, for some reason, we're not getting the voicemail. So we're going to switch it up a little bit. Okay, here's what we're going to do. If you want to call into our podcast, if you want to leave a message for us to play at the end of our podcast, what you can do is send us a voice memo or a recording of your voice to row60@gmail.com. Send it to us there the week before the show you want it to be on, and chances are we'll put it on the end of the show.
Yes.
Tack it on. And we want to hear from you and include you in our actual podcast. So once again, send us a voice memo to row60@gmail.com if you want to do that.
And how do we send a voice memo, Clark, for those who don't know how to send a voice memo?
That's a great question,
Let's go through a quick tutorial on how to get a voice memo sent to where it needs to go.
Okay, if you've got an iPhone, this is really easy.
Okay, all right.
But you're going to want to look for the, there's a little microphone app.
Yes. It's just come standard.
There's actually a waveform now.
Yes, a waveform.
Yeah. And we'll post a picture of it for all our YouTube listeners.
Okay.
And there's a little red button. Once you open that app, you just press that, hold it down,
talk away.
And then there should be a way to share that via email.
Good deal.
That might be
you just start pressing buttons. You'll figure it out. That's what I do. So, good deal. That's awesome, man. Y'all call in. We want to hear you.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's go straight into our roster, Adam. We're breaking down the roster because, once again, we have a lot of new guys. We want to update our listeners on those players and kind of give a 1-2 punch of who's going to be starting. Yeah. So the first and second string guys, and then maybe a few backups.
So we're going over kind of a projected depth chart. Nothing in stone. And we'll see. It'll obviously change as we go throughout the year of guys who step up and guys who get injured, all that stuff that happens playing football. And it's exciting, man. A lot of good, talented guys, a lot of names that a lot of Georgia fans don't know, but will be knowing here in the coming months. And that's always a good time, Clark, is when you're going over a roster and you're seeing these new names and you're trying to put faces to names, numbers to names, and these guys that you followed their recruitment in high school, out-of-state guys, in-state guys, and then you finally see them being the next man up come in there, and it's going to be exciting to see who steps up this year. So let's go over it and give these people some names to look out for.
All right, let's start on the defensive side of the ball. This is where we're going to hear a lot of those new names right here.
Absolutely.
Because, we lost a bunch last year. But let's start on the line. The defensive line, go right in the middle to the nose tackle. The nose tackle is what old Jordan Davis played last year and Devontae White a little bit. So who's going to fill their shoes?
Some big, as George Jones would say, who's going to fill their shoes? Some big shoes to fill, literally and figuratively, by those guys you just mentioned, Clark, guys who went on to the NFL. And I'm excited about this, Clark. There's talent that's coming. And the reports out of practice are the defense is looking better each week. And that's what we talked about in episodes of the past couple episodes, is these guys just got to have time to get reps. The talent's there. Just get reps, get experience. Leaders just step up. The leadership comes. And they just mold together into a collective group. Right. And it's going to be something special again on that side of the football. So let's talk about it, Clark. Let's talk about guys that you've kind of been hearing on the nose tackle side. Zion Logue. So he's a guy that me and you, we don't get to go to any practices. Right. We don't get to talk to any insiders or anything like that. But you hear chatter every now and then with stuff. But this is a guy that for a long time has been a guy that we feel like needs to step up and take a big role in this defensive line and play well to get back to the level that Trey Scott and Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp and Glenn Schumann and these defensive guys want to see from the defensive line, especially the interior defensive line that was so strong last year and such a big part of the success that we had. So Zion Logue, Nazir Stackhouse, are two guys I think that you'll see there for sure, and guys who have been playing, have got some reps at their time at Georgia.
See, that's the great thing about this is the names we're going to mention have gotten reps.
Right.
Now, it was a lot of reps in the third and fourth quarter of last year, but they got true game experience against SEC opponents too, and that's big. That's a really good thing to think about. So yeah, I mean, young guys, like you mentioned, true freshman Sean Washington, Bear Alexander, they're going to, I'm sure, get some reps this year at some point.
Bear's a guy who's had a lot of hype coming in, Clark. A guy who very similar frame to Jordan Davis.
Yeah,
a bigger guy, you know. And
I mean, you got to be a big guy to have a name like
you got
Bear.
You got to,
Come on,
man.
that's awesome.
He's a guy I really feel like is going to be a strong guy here at Georgia. This time at Georgia, he's going to make some plays, be a lovable guy, and a guy like Jordan Davis. I feel like, who knows, he might be as good as him. We'll see. I don't know. It's going to be hard to do, but a guy that I think has a lot of high hopes and expectation coming into Georgia. We'll see how he progresses throughout the year and where his place will be on that defensive front this year, Clark. So exciting.
Yeah. Moving on to defensive tackle. Oh my gosh, Adam, my favorite player I think on this defense now. I like this guy last year a lot too, but Jalen Carter could be I think some people are projecting him to be one of the top 3 picks off the board this upcoming year, but we're not going to talk about that yet. Adam, what do you got to say about Jalen Carter?
I'll say this, Clark. The defensive success begins and ends with number 88.
Ooh.
This defense will be strong, a stout defense when number 88 is in the football game. Now, Lord forbid, heaven forbid, knock on wood, if there's an injury or some reason why number 88 can't be out there getting significant snaps, I think you will see this defense take more steps back just single-handedly because he's not on the field. Obviously because he's a heck of a player, was last year, has always had that hype. But even when he was held out sometime during the camp right now, from reports we've heard, the defenses didn't look as good. When they went up against the offense, they did not look as strong in that position, Clark, without Jalen Carter there. But when they said the defense started scrimmaging one-on-one guys, against the offense that's supposed to be highly touted that we're going to get to, that the defense looked strong, won more plays, won the day, actually looked better. And a lot of people pointed to the fingers of the reason why that happened is to Jalen Carter in the inside, Clark.
Yeah,
so a guy that I think if we want to get to where we think this team can get to, Clark, and this defense sustain a level of success like they had last year, I mean, just kind of get in the neighborhood of that, Clark. Jalen Carter's got to stay healthy this year, and Jalen Carter has got to just be the impact that we know he can be and that he will be in that interior defensive line, Clark.
That's a good take. I like that.
Has to be.
He's an anchor, and more than just his performance on the field, he's got to be a leader.
Yes, he does.
This is one of the guys who has to step up. Him and Nolan, I think, and maybe a couple others, but they really do need to step up and be that vocal leader that guys like Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean were last year. So, but yeah, Jalen Carter, expect him to have a phenomenal year pending his, whether or not he's healthy. So, let's see. And then behind him, Warren Brinson. This is another guy who's
been on the roster. And a guy you've heard of and everything. So it's just Clark. It's time to go out there and compete. Go out there and show what you're made of. Yeah. Show your skill set. And a lot of guys that have chances to step up in some positions and make some plays and establish a name for themselves. Yeah. So.
There's going to be
there's a lot of new names, Clark. A lot of new names. A lot of names that we've heard, that we've read for many years, but they're like, oh, these are the guys we're looking at now. All right, here we go. Let's see. What have you learned being in that? And I think, Clark, that's what made Alabama so good for such a long time. And, of course, now the game's different with the transfer portal, just the free transfers, so to speak, and everything. Is back when that program was built, is you had guys who waited their turn, Clark, saw guys that did it the right way before them, who laid the blueprint, who went on to win championships, went on to be first-round draft picks, and then they knew when it was time for them to be upperclassmen and their time to step in their shoes, the standard was there, what they did, and they just stepped in and fulfilled that role, and that's how you just keep building blocks on top of blocks into a successful program, Clark, and I think that's what I expect out of this defense. I expect to see that this year out of these guys.
I think it's important to also reiterate these guys are 4 or 5-star recruits.
Exactly.
Some 3, but this is true talent, and we're going to see that this year. Just because we lost these guys does not mean our defense is not going to be any good. They may not be to what we were last year, but goodness gracious, I mean, you're talking about some high-class athletes on this defense. So, So, one last position on the line is a defensive end. Now, we run a 3-4 at Georgia, so kind of, I mean, it's a weird situation.
It's a weird hybrid. Yeah, that's
but
right.
I mean, they all kind of play on the line. So, defensive end, Adam, we've got a guy named Tyrion Ingram Dawkins. Now, admittedly, I don't know much about Tyrion. I know he's a redshirt freshman.
Yep.
Anything you can add?
Clark, I'll tell you, man, I think this is the guy that's going to have to fill some big shoes set by Trayvon Walker.
Right.
I think this is the guy right here that they're looking at as far as a body frame, a guy who has potential. And we're not saying he has to be him. We're not saying that he has to live up and be the number 1 NFL draft pick, because there's just some freakish athletic ability and just body features that Walker had that made him who he is.
Sure.
But I think this is a guy who has to step up in there and play a role to keep the defense at the level of play where they want to be at that Walker did such a good job with, Clark. And that's going to be hard to do. You go back and you look at film of how fast that Trayvon Walker was and his ability to get the quarterback, plays that got behind the first level, being able to halt down running backs, receivers, tight ends who caught the balls behind the first level, and being able to do that and just plays that a typical defensive end type, let's say,
shouldn't make.
Do not make. Right. And there was multiple times those plays were made with him in the football game. And I'm telling you, Ingram Dawkins is going to probably be a guy that I think I've heard conversation. They look forward to hopefully make some big plays, Clark. And again, I'm not saying he is Trayvon Walker. Don't get me wrong there, but I think a guy that they're really looking forward to as somebody who's going to have to take that next step up and play some good football on that defensive end, on that edge there.
Right. So, some more names to look out for. Tramel Walthor, he's a senior.
Walthour. Tramel Walthour.
I'm struggling here.
Because I always thought, no. The reason why I say that, the only reason I remember that is I always thought it was wallflower. Like a wallflower that you hang up on the wall, you know, like an air freshener, a wallflower, you know. I really did when I heard him come in the game, and you know, I listened to my headset, and everything, and they said Tramel Wallflower coming in. I was like, Wallflower, where did they get the last name Wallflower from?
That's an interesting.
And then it came to that Walthour, Thour, like a sour gummy worm, sour. That type of
interesting.
What's the word I'm looking for? That's the kind of pronunciation that we're going for with that. So I think that is right. I'm almost, because of the wallflower. Okay. I know that it is Walthour.
Gotcha.
Thour.
All right.
That's it.
And then behind him, Michael Williams, maybe. He's a freshman. He was Michael. Man,
I think it's Michael.
We're struggling.
I know Michael Williams. That's it.
Is this worse than trying to pronounce DJU?
DJU Young Gully.
Him.
No. It could be Michael, but Michael Williams. Yes, but he's a guy, Clark, that's highly regarded. A
lot of these guys are.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about the linebacker position.
This is a name we should know.
This is definitely one you already know. Nolan Smith is returning as a senior. Man, I'm really expecting big things out of him. I think really all of Dog Nation is. Kirby is. I think he himself is expecting some big things this year. So, man, this is a guy with a lot of talent. You know, he's very quick off the edge. He causes some havoc in the backfield. I like him.
You know, man, Nolan Smith's special case. I remember he was a highly regarded recruit, Clark, when they were talking about him coming in, and I think it was a little slow start. Yeah. I think a lot of people are like, when is Nolan Smith going to kind of peak, hit that gear that we've been wanting them to see, what we've been hearing about since he was in high school when he came on campus. They should hit. Well, last year that gear was hit, and he's a guy that I think is going to be the N'Kobe Dean on this defense, the guy who is going to naturally have to be the leader of these guys, and I feel like we'll do that, and it's going to have to be, and I think a guy who's going to have a lot of good numbers this year, Clark. Him and Jalen Carter are guys that they know the standard, they know where Kirby Smart and this defensive staff has developed the culture to be at, and they're going to have to be the ones to instill that. And I think I expect a big year for him. Hopefully, a good Lord willing, like everybody, injury free. That he's going to be a guy who's going to get after the quarterback and make some plays, and a guy that I think is going to get paid next year. Somebody that we'll see again. Somebody we'll see again when we watch the NFL draft.
Absolutely. Another behind him would be Chaz Chambliss.
You know what I think about Chaz Chambliss, Clark? And then I'll let you say
he's a DGD.
Just 2 words.
Okay.
Just 2 words.
Well,
just 2 words, which is the stereotypical, what you hear, just old school Georgia high school football coaches, what they like to hear, what they like out of their guy. High motor. You love a high motor, Clark. On the defense side of the football, you love somebody that's got a high motor.
Sure.
Right? So somebody like that, like Chaz Chambliss, when he came in that football game in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes.
That's where I remember him. High motor, man. Just a guy guy who likes to go hit somebody. I like that.
Yeah.
I like somebody who likes to just get down there, put his hand in the dirt, Clark, with the tape fingers, no gloves, put their hand in the dirt, Clark, and bull rush somebody and just let them know we're Georgia and pop them one good time. That's what I like. That's what makes football the best sport in the world is just because somebody just puts their hand in the dirt and pop somebody.
Yes. I love that hit against they had against that guy, the Michigan guy last year. Yes. Well, no, it was Knoxville. It was Knoxville. And Quay Walker was the dude.
They called it a targeting, didn't they?
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
But it was ridiculous. But I loved it, man. It set the tone. Let them know.
Yes.
You got to have some targeting.
Now, Adam, let me ask you this. This is kind of off the wall right here. We're going to kind of detour right here.
Detour.
Let me ask you this. If you were playing D1 football, right, and you had all the gloves, you had anything you wanted to get, how would you strap up for a Georgia football game?
What position would I be playing?
Let's just say you played safety in high school, right?
Yep. Yeah. So if I was at Georgia football playing and I was 6'4", 6'5" in the fantasy world, let's fantasize 6'3", 6'4", 270, run a 4.3 40.
Wait, are you a safety?
I'm a safety. I mean, a big safety.
Oh, wow,
big
you're
safety.
right.
So, a big safety.
Man, okay.
Nah, maybe like 220. Let's say 220, 225.
All right.
Anyway, I would probably go with the towel, the gloves, and the wrist
tape.
Tape wrist, maybe.
Gloves or no gloves?
Gloves.
Okay. What about the socks?
Now, if I was a lineman, I wouldn't have it. The socks would probably be I don't know, probably just some of the, what do you call those things?
Like the mid,
the mid socks, probably something like that. Probably would be where we would be going.
I like it.
Yeah.
Oh man,
how about you?
Love it. Well, if I were playing receiver, just hypothetically, 6 foot, 190. Adam, I respect receivers who don't wear gloves. So I would actually. Now I wore gloves in high school because it obviously helps. But I will say I respect the heck out of players who don't wear gloves. I just really think that's cool to me. So anyway, I wouldn't wear gloves. I would definitely go with a towel. And maybe a couple of arm sleeves.
I got you. I like it. I like it. The drip is what the cool kids call it.
The drip.
I learned that from watching the show the other night with Matt Brown on it. But anyway, we're derailing ourselves. But yeah.
Oh man. Oh gosh. All right. Let's talk about another returning guy, Robert Bill.
Hey.
Adam, this is a guy. I think he's pretty underrated.
That's what I was going to say. That's the word.
Very underrated, under the radar here. But a sure tackler, man, and I like
DGD, Clark.
Yeah.
Robert Bill, a guy who entered the portal last year. And entered the portal was a guy who was going to leave Georgia, decided to come back. A guy that has waited his time. A guy who is saw some adversity, and a guy who is just been through it, Clark, and then come back and he's proven himself. I mean, golly, he had at the end of the year last year, plugged, and really when Adam Anderson went down last year, when all that happened around after the Jacksonville game against Florida, Robert Bill stepped in and did, I think, a very plausible, good job and kept improving, I think, every single game. My opinion, he did. And I think a guy who is going to be, like you said, Clark, and I will say the most underrated player on Georgia's 2022 defense will be Robert Bill at the linebacker position. Look at this guy to make a name for himself this year, and look at this guy to be a fan favorite, I think, and somebody who the fans, I feel like, need to rally behind because he is a guy who could have walked out of Athens a long time ago, but he has stuck with it, man, and persevered, and I hope somebody who gets his this year. Go get yours. Get yours, Robert Bill. That's right. Give Robert Bill a clap. Give Robert Bill a clap. That's awesome, man. So hopefully he'll be good.
Yeah. Another name to look out for right behind him, MJ Sherman, sophomore. Anything? I don't know much about him.
Well, guy, he I think he's a guy that is who's highly regarded coming in. I think a guy who we feel like can make some plays coming. I think he's a lanky guy.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
Right.
I think he's going to be somebody who we will hear his name, no doubt, during his time in Athens as a playmaker.
Okay.
So
I like it.
Yeah.
All right. The money linebacker. Now, Adam. They've gotten crazy with all these names. You got a Jack linebacker, Sam Money,
Jack. Somebody's gonna go get the ball. Go get the pass rush. A pass rush or somebody who's going to just be flying the football, man.
I believe the Sam is a strong side linebacker. So wherever
wherever the strong side of the formation is, he's going to be going to. That's right. So somebody who's really got to get in there, stick his nose in there, and cause some disruption, Clark. And go get that. I mean, shoot, man.
Yeah.
Go get that ball carry.
And then we're at the money backer, which is kind of, from what I understand, this is kind of a newer position in football, and relatively newer,
ever evolving.
Right. But a money backer is kind of like a linebacker and a safety hybrid.
Yeah.
So somebody who can play in coverage and also can make a sure tackle at that second level. So this is a name. This is a guy, Adam, that I'm really excited about. I know you are too. Really.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in this program really seems to be excited about. It's Jamin Dumas-Johnson.
Yeah, the guy's got a good build, Clark. Good build, good physical characteristics out there on the football field, Clark. Got some time last year, and a guy I think in the spring that they're really trying to push, a guy really trying to get him going and everything. And I expect him to be the next great Georgia inside linebacker. That's just me saying that with just my high hopes on it, Clark. So I think he's going to be a guy that the whole world's going to hear this year. He's definitely passes the eye test.
Yes.
Let's say that.
Sure. Smell Mondon.
The guy we heard about last year, Logan Waldrop.
Yeah,
listener shouted him out last year at the beginning of the season. So here we come around this year. There's a guy that we think we're going to hear about. So somebody who the past couple of years has been highly touted coming in at Georgia. So I think a guy who, if he can stay healthy, stay on the field, is going to be a physically gifted guy like all these guys are. And it really reminds me of a young group of linebackers who I think will grow. And by the end of their playing career, Georgia will be highly regarded. And but all the physical tools, Clark. That's the thing. We're not trotting guys out there, I feel like, that don't have the tools, that don't have the what am I trying to say? The capability, so to speak. So I think it's going to be. It's just if these guys develop. If these guys, how they feel, where's the leadership going to be, and how they're going to mesh as a unit is going to determine the success. I mean, of course, that's what we've been talking about. But the talent and from the recruiting from the past few years has got it that is there. It's there, Clark. And I feel like this defense is going to be stout. I really do.
Adam, I'm just looking.
But I really do. I mean, obviously, there will be a drop off.
Right.
Of course, there will be.
I'm looking at.
They're still a good high caliber defense.
They are.
Looking at these names.
I'm looking at all these guys really on this defense. I'm just scrolling through the roster here, y'all, and I mean, man, I'm just seeing freshmen, sophomore. I mean, I'm seeing a couple seniors, a couple juniors, but we've got a very young bunch of guys here. And I think it's important to give these guys some time to develop. It may be, listen, y'all, it may be a rough patch this first few games or whatever, but I would rather it be that than what am I trying to say here? I would rather grow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, it's Clark. It's just what we've been talking about. The schedule sets up great for the offense to carry us at the front half, and then I think when the defense is really going to be tested is the Tennessee, Mississippi State, Kentucky stretch. Yeah. Some guys who really like to spread the football out and go fast down the field.
Well, we've got time,
and I think by that time, I mean that's the last quarter of the season. Yeah. This defense is really going to be in a good spot. I'm not going to sit here and say, Clark, it'll be like last year. I'm not. I mean, you can't. That is complete. We are homers. We are delusional in a sense, but we would be completely delusional and homers if we said that. I think this will be a solid defense, like a 2018 type.
Right.
I don't know if it'll be good as 2019. They might get to that point, but I think this will be a 2018 type defense. It might be a 19, but I would say that the offense is going to be the best. But the difference in why this team can get to where we talked about last episode, where they can get, is this will be the best offense ever since Kirby Smart's been here, and probably in the history of the program, I would think. But I think if you have an 18 to 19 in the middle of that performing defense, then you're there.
Yeah.
You're there. That's where we need.
I mean, that's championship caliber.
That's where exactly, Clark.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So,
all right, let's go to our secondary.
Boom.
And
now,
go ahead.
Let me just preface this. Let me just preface this, Clark.
Okay.
It's been a long week. Hadn't had much sleep. So anyway, let me just say that I think this could be the stoutest secondary and the most talent that we have seen in the backfield in Georgia football history, especially in Kirby Smart's tenure right here. Let me just say that. I'm just going to say that. I'm going to go ahead and say it, Clark. I'm going to go ahead and say that the name's back here. Let's go.
And that's interesting because last year it was like, we were trying to pull in guys. There was a lot of patchwork. We had to rely on the transfer portal. That was So it's a tale of two stories.
Yes. It is.
A tale of two stories.
Tell us.
Is that the phrase?
Yeah. No. Tell it. Anyway, it is different. It's different. So, but you're right, Clark. You're exactly right. You're sitting there thinking a lot of the commotion going on in some of the community is talking. Who are we going to get playing cornerback? Who are we going to get in the secondary? Who's going to step up, man? Mm-hmm. But this year going in, there's guys that are deep. It's just who's going to separate themselves.
Right.
You don't really know the names. I feel like who's going to be that, but you know somebody's going to be that, and it's there for the taking. So just go take it, man. Mm-hmm. Just go take it.
Yeah.
So, let's talk about them. Let's talk about these boys and what we got.
So a guy that's seems like he's been here for a long time, William Poole, in that star position. You know, he had a lot of good games at the end of the season.
The last two.
Yeah, and those are the big ones.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
You know, he really stepped up in those two. I thought he had a phenomenal national championship game.
Yeah.
A guy that's going to come back with some experience, you know, maybe some veteran leadership. William Poole.
I think Clark is a guy who, like you said, veteran leadership, a guy who I'm pulling for. I'm pulling for him to stay on the field the whole year. I'm pulling for him to have a chance to get drafted.
Right.
Of course, we want all these guys to live out their dream, go to the NFL, and a guy who will always have the heroic effort that he had the last two games, especially in the national championship game, had some big pass deflections. A guy who struggled in the SEC championship, and you could tell it's pretty obvious, but I mean, completely just push that aside and bounce back those last two games. And he's come back to Georgia. Probably got a starting spot. We'll say he's probably going to start. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if he ends the season there, though, Clark.
Right.
I think a guy like, we'll talk about Malachi Stark somewhere in that secondary. From what you keep hearing, could be plugged in, but it might not be at that position. You might have to put Poole there right now for the veteran leadership until some of these guys are better comfortable with the speed of the game, the playbook, etc., coverage schemes, all that good stuff. Right. But a guy definitely you will expect to see out there in the starting secondary in Atlanta against Oregon will be William Poole, Clark, and I think a guy who has earned that right. Yeah. So exciting for him, man. That's good.
Yeah. There's a lot of guys, man, that are in the secondary that I really feel like can play about anywhere.
Oh, they can.
You know,
a
guy like Malachi Starks. Right. You know, you could put him about anywhere. Ty Smith, Chris. I mean, there's a lot of guys on this list. Yeah. So let's go to our corners. I'm here. Obviously, Keely Ringo.
He'll be the guy.
Hey, listen. If there's one name that any Georgia Bulldog should know, it's Keely Ringo. Yeah. I mean, for obvious reasons, but man, we talk about this guy. He is just talented, man. He is a lockdown corner,
and he's got the build and the body of an NFL quarterback.
Exactly.
Clark. One of those big corners and a guy who's very physical. Yeah. And that's what we've wanted for a long time, Clark. You remember years and years we had just smaller cornerbacks, but this guy, Keely Ringo, is somebody who can be very physical with somebody downfield for jump balls and everything, and really can jam people off the line and do good at that. And he's only going to improve, Clark. Yeah. There were some growing pains a little bit last year in his first season, first playing, but he ended the year strong. He's got himself in a good spot this year to really make a bigger name for himself after that interception and improve that draft stock. I think he's already rated as one of the top 5 defensive players in the conference coming back this year, and a guy I think is going to be high on Mel Kiper and Todd McShay's draft board by the end of the year. So a guy who definitely has one corner spot locked down, and a guy that we hope can stay healthy, and a guy who, Clark, is going to have to be in that role of Christopher Smith as a leader in that secondary, William Poole and Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, and everybody just shape the whole defense of where it needs to be at. So very excited about him, man. A DGD, somebody I love, one of my favorite players on the football team. I love it. Keely Ringo.
Keely Ringo. Adam, on the other side of the field, it's kind of up for grabs right now. Is that kind of what you're hearing?
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of young, talented guys out there, that cornerback spot. I think it's going to be Kamari Lassiter.
Okay.
I hope it's somebody who can stay healthy, Kamari. But I think I could be completely wrong on that because I don't talk to Coach Smart. I don't talk to Will Muschamp.
You don't have him on speed dial?
So nobody tells me anything. So I don't know. It's just going off of kind of what I think.
And we were denied media passes.
We were denied media passes. We tried, folks. We were going to try to give y'all some access. But we didn't get the chance to do that. But let's just go off gut feel. Gut feel, Kamari Lassiter. We'll find out in Oregon. But I think there's a guy who's a very talented cornerback, and I think a guy, Clark, by the time his tenure's done in Athens, is a name going to be a household name.
I like that.
He's going to be opposite side of Ringo to me.
Yeah. Let's talk about
Nyland Green's another guy. I think who we should look out for. Just keep your eye on him too. I think Lassiter will get the nod over him. But I think you'll see it where both of those guys will be out there, of course. We'll see. We'll see. Should be very interesting.
Let's talk about our safeties right quick. Christopher Smith. He's back. He's healthy.
Great.
We need him. Hey, another potential leader of this football team.
Clark, a guy who's played a lot of football, George. A guy who's been in that secondary for a long time, played in some big football games, had a national championship pick too.
That's true.
He did. He had a pick in the national championship. A guy who was banged up in the SEC championship, and we clearly saw that and how much we missed him. Healthy 100% that game. And when he was out of the lineup, you could tell in that back end, and he's a guy that is exciting for him to come back. I hope it benefits him, and he's rewarded for returning, get some more film, growing in his game, and a guy who will get a shot at the next level. But what I really like him for is a guy who is going to be on that back end of that secondary, being able to communicate, be the quarterback of the secondary, and a guy who is who's going to be very smart back there and a playmaker, Clark. So the big pick six against Clemson was one of my favorite plays of last year. And a guy that I think we're going to see some more good stuff out of, and a guy I think who's going to be a staple and solid. I don't see anybody taking Christopher Smith's spot at that strong safety position, Clark.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to point out, Adam, and this kind of just hit me. You know, we lost all these guys on the defense, but man, we only lost Darion Kendrick in the secondary. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So one guy out of the secondary.
Lewis Seen. That's right. Safety spot. I mean, two big guys. But I mean, a lot of guys who's got the chance to plug in and really make a difference.
Right.
So. Christopher Smith's going to be somebody who's going to be good. You could plug in Malachi Starks there too. I keep talking about him. That is the name of the secondary to watch as a true freshman. We have seen quotes that we can't see. I mean, you can see of Kirby Smart hitting at guys, some freshman guys, true freshmen that can start.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think it could be Malachi Starks.
He's just a true athlete.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
So I don't know where we'll see him at. I think you might not see him game one start because you have so many guys in that secondary who's played a lot of football and is familiar with what we want to do on the defensive side of the ball. And another guy at the free safety spot, Dan Jackson.
I love Dirty Dan. Hey, if there's one person on this football team, actually, you know what? This is my favorite. I know I said this about Jalen Carter, but I think Dan Jackson is my favorite player on this defense.
Yes, I agree.
The way he took that hit.
Sacrificed his body in the pick six, man. The block punt against Arkansas. Really solid in coverage, too. Yeah. A guy, I think, who can read the defense, can play that center field Roman position, at the free safety spot and do pretty good in it. Yeah. Definitely somebody who we'll see what the plan is, but has earned the right to be back there. I feel like. I mean, it's solid play. I think on the defensive side of the football, especially in the secondary, when you're not noticed, you can't really think you're doing.
That's good. Yeah,
that is a good thing.
Exactly,
that is a good thing.
Yeah.
And that I think Dan Jackson's one of those guys who just does his job and it's consistently done it well. And I think a guy is going to be hard to get off the field, Clark. Right. So these young guys that are coming in, you have that one spot at the cornerback position, but then you got guys like Malachi Starks, Clark, who it might be tough though. You got some talent that comes in that's just hard to. From day one to keep off the field.
Right.
So where's it going to be at? A lot of decisions to be made there by this coaching staff, this defensive coaching staff, and we'll see. We'll see a lot of excitement. That's a good problem to have.
Well,
that's a good problem to have.
True. So, that's true. Adam, we may need Malachi Starks on the offensive side.
Yeah.
Oh man. Speaking of offense, let's switch gears.
All right.
Talk about our offense. This is a little bit more familiar territory for us because we obviously know a lot more names on this list. What do you want to start off with, Adam?
Go ahead. Start off with quarterback. Let's go quarterback down for what you got. What do you expect then? I don't know. It's a question mark. Yeah. Oh man,
who's earned that quarterback spot?
Man. I'm telling you, Clark, it is. It's very exciting to go in this season to know that Stetson is the guy. The reports that we get to hear out of camp is that he has took that next level of play. He is playing good. There really isn't a question mark from everything I've heard anyway. Yeah. And again, it's limited knowledge. Let me say that again. But it seems like this is by far, there's a huge gap between Stetson and Carson Beck from my understanding, and that he is a little more bulked up. We talked about that last episode. Got a little bit more pop on the football. Let's say just a little bit more zoom on it. And I think a guy who is very comfortable with where he's at, very comfortable in commanding this offense. This is now year 3 for Todd Monken. Let's talk about that, Clark.
Yeah.
It's huge to have a offensive coordinator and the same offense for the 3rd year coming in.
That's a good point.
And it's something that we have not seen in a while. So I'm excited about that. I think this offense is going to be historic for the University of Georgia. And I believe Carson Beck on the, of course, will be the 2nd string. But I think Brock Vandegrift's closing the gap on him. I think the gap has narrowed between 2nd and 3rd string as far as everybody's updates on the other quarterbacks that are in the room there. And so what's your take on it, Clark?
Man, I like Stetson. I mean, I think you're right. His confidence level is where it needs to be a very successful quarterback in this conference. He just looks good. You know, like you said, we don't know exactly what's happening in practice, but you can imagine he can only get better from now. I think he's because we've got that monkey off our back, because we've won the ultimate prize in college football. The pressure's off. Expect him to play loose this year. And one thing too I want to mention, I really do think we're going to see him run even more than what we saw last year. He's going to make even more plays with his feet than last year.
Well, let me tell you, Clark. I mean, let's throw this scenario out there. Could you see a scenario where Stetson Bennett is in New York at the end of the year? I know it's crazy, but it's crazy.
You got C.J. Stroud, you got Bryce Young.
But it's not far-fetched. You look at some numbers from last year, and you look at improving just a little bit off those numbers and some comparable numbers that have been in New York as a Heisman finalist in years past. And he's there, man. Yeah. I do
people
believe
think that's crazy.
Yes, I agree. But I think it shows his work ethic, but it also shows Monken and the talent that's around him and the potential of this offense to put numbers up that I think that are going to be sneaky good, Clark. I think that won't be just completely like just wow, just amaze you, but it'll be sneaky good and just keep piling them up throughout the year.
Yeah.
And it could be. I don't know. But the narrative needs to be buried about any type of quarterback race. Hopefully he'll stay healthy all year. Right. But he is the guy that I think we have to have. We have to have number 13 behind center, I think, to get this offense rolling, especially in the front part of the season, to put some points on the board while the defense goes through some growing pains, which there will be. And let's roll. Let's do it. So that's who it's going to be.
Let's go back in the backfield. Few running back names, obviously. Kenny Mack coming back another year. Kendall Milton, man, if we can get him healthy, that'd be amazing.
Oh, man.
Got Dejon Edwards, Branson Robinson, and then news today, Andrew Paul is torn ACL. You got to hate it for that kid because, man, that's one guy I heard a lot of hype about coming out of fall camp.
You did.
But man, you know, we got a good stable of guys that are ready to tote the ball to carry, and I'm excited about this group.
Me too, Clark. When you lose a guy like Zamir White, James Cook, guys who are making splashes on their NFL rosters right now, I like Georgia's their approach to the running back room, Clark. It's not just run somebody in the ground with too many carries. I like that's the recruiting pitch, and I think why we get so many guys coming in here with other elite guys is because we're going to say we're not going to run you in the dirt in your college career. Right. You're not going to get X amount of carries a game. You're going to get this amount of carries a game, but it's going to prolong your running back life, and I like that that committee type carrying system there. And it's something that you said, Clark, with Andrew Paul going down, a true freshman who had a lot of hype coming in, and you hate that. And people are like, you hear, why do we have so many injuries in the preseason? Well, you have physical, tough practices at the University of Georgia. That's what Kirby Smart has instilled in this program, and that's why the program is where it's at. And you're going to have that when you have that type of physical competition and that type of tough practices in that environment. You're going to have injuries, but to get where you want to be at, you got to have it. So I mean, it's just part of the game.
And the players wouldn't want it any other way.
Right? No.
You know, you ask them. They want it to be that hard because when you go out there, Nolan Smith said this last year. I mean, truly, the games are easier than your practices and your scrimmages in this case. So, but man, you got to hate it for Andrew Paul. But you know, you got a young guy like Branson Robinson. He's going to play. I really think we're going to have a full running back rotation. Like just.
Well, I think it's going to be your guys this year. Your two guys are going to be Kenny and Kendall. And then there's going to be a little bit of a drop, and then you're going to have DeJuan Edwards and Branson Robinson, a true freshman who looks like he's ready to go. Looks like an NFL back right now, just on the eye test, but a guy who's had a lot of hype coming in. I'm really excited about Kenny McIntosh. I picked that to be the guy who I think is going to be the playmaker on offense this year. That's just the guy I just feel like. I think he's a guy who's going to fill the role of James Cook as far as explosiveness, catching the ball out of the backfield and carrying the ball. I think could be a physical runner, but Clark's a guy who can cause some damage, getting the ball out of the field, getting the ball on the outside, and beat you with his speed too.
Yeah.
Kendall Milton is a guy who's had a lot of hype, and it's just been, dang, Lady Luck has not been on his side. Has been injured in this fall camp as well. We got to have him healthy, Clark.
Yeah.
I like how we have so many choices and how it's been that way for years of guys who you can split carries with, and I don't want to start losing guys this early. Hopefully for his sake too, Kendall Milton can stay healthy, get over this problem he has right now, and stay healthy and have a big year. But he will be the guy who will split the carries with Kenny McIntosh. DeJuan Edwards is a guy who the past couple of years has been buried in that running back room, Clark. But every time he has got in the game in some garbage time or so, he has ran the ball hard. That is what I've noticed from the stands. When he gets in the game, he is running the ball hard. He does not quit until the whistle is blown. I love that, man. I'm sure that with that type of work ethic, from what you just see from the stands, that he's continued that in the weight room. It's just continued to get better. And I hope a guy who deserves to have some time and some meaningful time in the game this year, some meaningful carries. And I think a guy who's going to take advantage of it. A guy who I'm excited to see. I think he's a talented runner. I think he could have already been starting on some other teams, but he was behind some very talented backs, and the guy who's going to get his chance, and I hope takes advantage of it.
Right.
Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. Tight ends, Adam. This is the best tight end room in America.
Yeah, it's not no question.
I heard Roman Harper the other day on SEC Network. He said that Alabama
position groups, yes,
had a better tight end room. Now look, they do have
room.
Linebacker room.
Yep. It was he did the top room, like position groups.
Oh, I see.
He was talking about the edge rushers with Dallas Turner and Will Anderson's overall.
No, that makes sense.
But I still thought, man, that's pretty. I mean, there's some talented guys, but
he also had us losing to Tennessee.
Alabama homer. But he had tight end group number 2 was Georgia's, has the second best group in the position group with the tight end room, is what he said.
I don't know.
I would argue they're the first. They're the most talented. I think that is the most talented. And with my red and black glasses on, in the nation is the tight end room at the University of Georgia. My gosh, it's unreal. It is unreal, the talent in that room. 14 personnel coming out this year.
And the thing that people aren't talking, or the guy that nobody's talking about in the national media. Now, Georgia fans are raving about this guy's Oscar Delp. Yeah. I mean, he truly looks like what Brock kind of was last year.
Yeah, I mean, a guy I think who is who has been very good, coming in his freshman year. I don't think he will have. I think he'll definitely be.
I mean, he's not going to make the impact.
Yes, but he will be a guy. But he will. I mean, it's unreal to get that guy back to back years. Somebody of their talent level, Brock and Oscar Delp, from everything we're hearing. What I like about what we've been hearing is in fall camp and these scrimmages is 1 week we saw Darnell Washington tore it up, got a lot more targets. I think the game plan this year will be that Darnell Washington will get more targets in the passing game, Clark. Yep. And he is lethal, especially when you get in that red zone, especially when you get in some jump ball situations inside the 10 where maybe you're not pounding the ball, running it good there. Hey, you just dump it off a big zero, man. And who are you going to match up with him? And it's just a complete mismatch. It's a defensive coordinator's worst nightmare. What you could do with guys like Brock Bowers, Eric Gilbert, and Darnell Washington, and then Oscar Delp. You throw them in there. I mean, it's just it's a nightmare. I mean, Brock Bowers. How in the world you can match the season he had last year? I don't know, but he's there, and I can't wait to see what Todd Monken has planned to put all these playmakers in. I think there's going to be guys who get a lot of touches, and all of these tight ends are going to eat. Yeah. And then I think, you heard Darnell Washington had a great scrimmage, the first one, and got a lot of targets, a lot of catches. And then I think they went and ran Eric Gilbert out there, and he had some. So, man, I mean, that's what excites me. Yeah. The possibilities are endless of what you could do with that many tight ends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, G-Day, we got to see a little bit of Eric Gilbert. golly, that kid's just a freak of nature.
He is.
I mean, really.
He's just a monster. And his true freshman year at LSU, he was a freak.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that was 2 years ago. So imagine what it's going to be now.
Right.
And the maturity is rested up. He didn't play any ball last year. So, man, it's going to be fun to watch, Clark. Fun to see what Todd Monk has got under his sleeve.
Oh, yeah.
Got up.
There's almost like too many weapons.
Yes.
Like who do you choose?
Yes.
Truly?
Yeah. I don't know.
That might be.
I mean, but I think I heard. Go ahead.
Talking about Jermaine Burton, I think that may have been the reason why he left, because he wasn't going to be the guy.
Really?
The guy.
Really?
Like he thought he should be. I don't know.
I don't know.
Kind of
we're going to see with that, but I mean, I think we're not going to be lacking in the tight end department at all. No. Darnell Washington's a guy who's really good at run blocking, and a guy who is just going to be really good. I think we're going to see more out of him this year. I really do. I think you're going to see Brock Bowers being on the field with either Eric Gilbert or Darnell Washington is going to benefit the other one, because defensive coordinators this year are going to game plan around Bowers more. I feel like maybe more double teams, but that's going to open up more opportunities for the opposite guy, either Eric Gilbert or Darnell Washington, who's on the field if they decide to go that route. I mean, I don't know. It's going to be so much fun to watch. Yeah. I can't wait. I mean, the hype is just unbelievable for this offensive unit, and man.
Best we've ever seen in Georgia football history, and preseason at least.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, here we go with receivers. A.D. Mitchell returning. God, I'm so excited about this guy. Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint. We got Kearis Jackson, Dominic Blaylock, Ladd McConkey. And then, man, Arian Smith. I mean, I hate it for this kid. This was going to be my guy.
That was your guy, Clark.
I said, and then Aaron, for those who don't know, Arian Smith, I believe he broke his leg. Is that right? Or his ankle, maybe?
Yeah. I think so. A guy that, just can't stay healthy. No. Can't stay healthy.
Hate it for him,
man. But he every time he's been in there, he shows some flashes of just greatness. Mm-hmm. A guy just can't stay on the field, man. You hate it, but that's the game of football. And a lot of players out there just snake bit like that, have multiple seasons where there's just tough injuries that decimate their year, and I hate it for them, man. But hopefully, good Lord willing, be praying for them they can bounce back and get out there eventually. Then, so, fortunately, this is a group that is going to be pretty deep, Clark. I feel like there's some guys in there. There's a lot of veteran leadership coming in. Brian McClendon, a guy who has been around, been an offense coordinator, been an interim head coach. The place has been at Georgia before, played receiver at Georgia, is coming back to Georgia, Clark. So I'm excited to see what he does now as he is the new wide receiver coach, and what we see out of these guys this year. So I think some of the reports, of course, A.D. Mitchell is going to be a talented guy coming in for his second year. He's got that true freshman season under his belt. So
it's
coming in.
It's hard to believe that was his freshman season.
Can you believe that? I mean, a guy who's going to be really good. Of course, you lose George Pickens, but a guy who we really didn't have him a lot last year. And when we did have him, he made big plays, but he just wasn't a huge part of it. So these guys were forced to step up last year. Marcus Rosemy-Jack Saint, a guy a couple years ago, had a bad injury, but has contributed, fought back, and a guy who has played a lot of football. It would be good. Kearis Jackson, a guy who's played so much football. A guy who I think
sixth year.
and when Stetson Bennett took the job in 2020 from Dwan Mathis during the COVID year, that weird year, it seemed like that him and Kearis kind of had that rhythm with each other, and I think it has always had a good connection with one another. Kearis Jackson will be the guy who will return punts, just good possession receiver, a guy that you can throw the ball to and is pretty sure-handed with the football. A guy I'm excited for, Clark, a guy that we continue to talk about adversity, injuries, has had 2 seasons derailed because of ACL tears, came back and contributed a little bit last year, but a guy who is getting some praise from what I hear this all season is Dominic Blaylock, Clark. A guy I'm really pulling for, a guy who I hope is going to be out there, can stay healthy and make some plays, but you hear some big plays being made by old Dom then, so I hope he plays well.
Yeah. My favorite offensive player, Ladd McConkey.
Yes, sir.
Cannot wait for Ladd.
Yeah.
Just a great route runner. I mean, he's speedy.
Yeah.
He is a fast receiver, and he catches the ball good. He's sure-handed. So.
I mean, he is Clark. One of my favorite plays last year was a long touchdown throw to him at Auburn over there in Opelika. Good play. So it's fun to see him, man, coming back his sophomore year. A guy you heard about in camp last year making some plays. So
also, Logan Waldrop shouted him out.
Yep. So
preseason
last year. So excited to see him coming back. And really, the freshman I'm excited for, a new guy, a new face we haven't seen, C.J. Smith, Clark. C.J. Smith is a guy who's been talked about for a long long time that can make an immediate impact this year. So, man, look out for C.J. Smith. I think one of those guys that can really step in and big receiver that can make some plays for us downfield. And we'll see, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
God, there's a lot of players out there.
There is.
I think we're going to be throwing the football around.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I can't wait. God, we're there, Clark. We're there.
We're here.
This is it.
We're 10 days away.
This is it, baby. We're 10 days away. Like, what are people doing with their lives right now? I'm raising a baby, but I know we're 10 days away right now. So it's exciting.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch this offense light it up.
It is. It is. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun. Just get excited about it, folks.
All right.
I can't believe it's back.
Last position group, but certainly not least, the biggest. It all hinges on, I think, these guys' success and performance right here.
Without a doubt.
The offensive line. And, man, we lost two, Jamari Sawyer and then Justin Schaefer to the draft.
Two good ones.
Two DGDs.
Two DGDs.
And so, but man, we've got a lot of good talent on this line. Starting off with the left tackle, Broderick Jones, just a monster.
Yeah, Clark, I'll tell you, from the culture that was built by Sam Pittman, carried on by Matt Luke, and now Stacey Searles is in, a guy who is coach, who at one time has been regarded as the best offensive line coach in America, but a guy who has coached under some Saban staffs at LSU, coached at Texas, coached for Rick, a guy who is very well respected in the offensive line community, in the football world, is a guy taking over this group. Clark, I think, like you said, it all hinges on the success of this group. I think where it's really going to be where this team goes. But from outside looking in, this could be the best offensive line in Georgia football history.
And we keep saying
I keep saying that, but it's true.
But yeah,
it's true.
truly.
It's not, I mean, golly, it's the same routine with us, but I mean, it's the truth. I don't think that is completely just out of left field saying that, but the pundits are saying that, and from where you look at the experience there, this could be, it's going to be interesting to see, but if it's right, man, this could be the best one. So, Broderick Jones, a guy who stepped up last year big, and a guy who's going to hold down that left tackle position. I feel like Marius Mims, some controversy with him, a very talented guy, somebody that you hear a lot of stuff about. I don't think we'll crack the starting lineup this year, but staying in Athens, hopefully he could just continue to mature, be around Coach Searles and some of these older guys and get there eventually. Right, but, man, when you have a guy like Marius Mims who's been in the program this long and still on the bench for you, then that speaks volumes about the talent you got out there. So, I think that's exciting. A very important position to protect Stetson's blind side, but guy who did it all last year, so exciting.
Left guard position, speaking of Marius Mims, Adam, some people may expect him to be
and he might be, I guess he will be. Yeah.
You may have Xavier Truss out there. Who knows? That's kind of a toss-up.
Yeah. I think Mims, hopefully we can see him going. As somebody who has been very talented, I think, and from coming in, of course, some chatter they went in Florida State, a guy I hope to see contribute come then. So, but very exciting.
I like Xavier Truss too. He's a good,
and I hope that will be the plan besides a Warren Erickson there. But I mean, you got a guy like Warren Erickson who you can put around all these places. Center. It's going to be interesting to see where Todd Monk and Kirby and Stacey Searles decides to plug all these guys at.
Right. So. Right. Center, I think Cedric Van Pran pretty much has that on lock now. I would imagine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you got a good center backup in Warren Erickson. He's one of those kind of plug and play kind of guys. Wherever you need him.
I agree.
So may see some rotation there. Who knows? Right guard. This is who I'm really excited about too, Adam. And this is a guy we lost game one. Actually, the first
offensive drive. That's exactly right.
Tate Ratledge.
A guy you heard a lot about last year going into that Clemson game who had made some noise, going to be a big player, big contributor. Of course, Clark, we lost him, might as well say the whole year. Only played, 3 or 4 plays, if that. And a guy that has been a little bit banged up this camp, they've saw, but nothing serious from what I've heard, but a guy who I think is going to be a big anchor in that guard spot, and somebody huge in that offensive line this year is going to be Tate Ratledge. I'm excited to see him. Hopefully he can stay healthy and play some good ball there. So we'll see, man. We'll see. So I'm excited, man. That's a strong right side of the line right there. Cedric Van Pran, you mentioned him at center, a guy who really came into his own, and somebody who's going to be solid at the center position as well. I mean, you look at these guys, a lot of experience, a lot of talent there. I think if they gel, the right guys are plugged in the right places, and injury-free, it could be a spectacular, historic offensive line. Then.
I like it, yeah. And then holding down the right tackle position would be Warren McClendon. I would only only imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, he started last year. Talk about
good.
veteran leader on this line. He may be the one.
Yes.
Who's that leader? So
gonna be exciting.
Okay, so that kind of wraps it up for offense and defense.
It's one of these episodes, Clark, where we just have to get the information out there. Not a lot of opinions coming out from it, not a lot of just conversation, but a lot of conversation that needed to be said. And I love this time of year because it is for who is going to be the guys that we need to look out for. So that does the offense and the defense. But let me say this. We talk about these offense and defensive players, Clark, and who needs to step up, where we need to be at from last year's run, who needs to step up and fill their shoes. Clark, might I add that we might be talking about the person that will be the most missed from the 2021 Georgia Bulldogs could be from the special teams unit?
Jake Camarda.
I think it is, Clark. I think we're going to find out this year how good and how big of a weapon he was and how important it was for him to do what he did, constantly flipping field position, and how big, as talented as that defense was, Clark, not to take anything away from them, but you think about the times last year where Camarda pinned offenses back deep and defenses, that Georgia defense had an offense way back in their own territory.
Right.
And, I mean, you look at the field positions where they started. A lot of those offenses that we played last year did not start drives with short field position.
That's true.
That's due in part to Jake Camarda and his ability to punt at a very high level consistently. And a guy I think we're going to see this year how big that was.
Yeah.
And honestly, Clark, I think you can see him from this sounds crazy, from what he was as a holder to Jake Podlesny. I think there's a sync that you have to dial in, that the holder and the place kicker has to be in sync with getting the ball down right and everything and spinning it right and whatnot. And I think that's something that we might not have seen yet in fall camp get corrected, which I think will be. And I'm not saying this is a huge problem, but I'm just saying, I'm just wanting to give, I mean, if you're a punter drafted in the 4th round, you're pretty good. You're a pretty dang good football player.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that is just something as we go into this segment and special teams, keep in mind that give his due that we might be missing him more than what we think. You think about a punter, I'm not going to miss, but from what he did for us last year, especially for that defense. So anyway, let's talk about what we got coming up this year. Who's going to be the next man up?
So Brett Thorson.
All right, man. Brett,
True
let's go
freshman.
do it, man. Big shoes to fill. True freshman. A guy I think you're hearing from fall camp. Not the best reports coming out of just from the punting game. I think got better here up to this date of our recording. Has it looked a little bit better, and maybe the other side of the kicking game hasn't been as stout. But I don't know, Clark. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Hopefully, we won't have to trot old Brett Thorson out there as much this year.
Yeah.
Maybe our offense will just score.
Right. Maybe we'll. And a guy, I mean, if he's a true freshman, I say the kid's got a strong leg.
He'll develop.
We'll see. Hopefully, gets in there, develop, finds his own, finds his rhythm, finds his routine. But yeah, I think that's going to be a position that we're going to have. One of the positions up there that we're going to miss the most is the punter. We had last year, so.
Well, we're not losing our kicker, or we haven't yet, at least. Jack Podlesny coming back for senior year. Adam, Jack Pod. Is this a senior year?
Jack Podlesny. I'll be honest, Clark, I'm not 100%
I'm pretty sure.
Look that up.
Fact check me here.
He's a guy. Yes, senior year. That's exactly right. Of course, when he really came, he succeeded Rodrigo Blankenship. And a guy who made a huge kick to win that Peach Bowl there at the end, and a guy who has been pretty good for us. And I don't know, it's weird because Podlesny's not on scholarship, but Jared Zirkle, a guy who's been around campus, a highly regarded kicker, is on scholarship from Texas and just hadn't dethroned Podlesny yet. And I think from what you hear coming out of camp right now, the place kicking situation isn't where you want it to be at. Let's just say that it's not where you want it to be at. I think that is a position too, Clark, where you have to have the mental game, the mindset, the fortitude to be at a good spot, and you could really get in a spot where you get the yips.
It's like golf.
You get the yips, and I think both of them, from what I've heard, might have the yips.
Have a case of the yips.
Has a case of the yips. Both Jared Zirkle and Podlesny. I don't think anybody has been separated. But in that being said, I think Podlesny might be the guy. But don't be surprised if Jared Zirkle could be the guy. Could be the guy, but somebody's got to step up. That's from what I hear. Somebody's got to do it.
I don't know.
We're not in a good spot at the place kicking position.
I don't know if it'll ever get as bad as 2016 going to the Missouri.
Oh, don't.
Let's just not.
I remember that game. We were sitting in the family section, Clark. You got us some tickets, me and some buddies out there, and of course, buddy's just crazy. And old William Ham, God bless the man, was out there kicking.
Great guy, by the way.
Rodrigo Blankenship came up, and how many field goals did he miss that night?
3.
I mean, this was
and one was a chip.
I mean, look, I couldn't have done better. After he missed the 3rd field goal, one of my friends, Brian Vickery, got up and just screamed, "What are we doing?" I mean, just losing his mind, like just because we're getting beat by Missouri this time.
Yeah.
And we drove 15 hours out there. You want to see Georgia win. You don't want to go to Missouri and lose. You just can't believe William Ham just botched his 3rd field goal. And I look 2 rows behind me, and I see a woman turn around and a man turn around and look, and I see 2 jerseys, and I look at the number, and then I look at the place kicker's number, and then I look at the back of their jersey, and the name was Ham. And I look at the place kicker, and his name was Ham, and it was their parents' and I pulled Muffin down. That's what we call it. O'Brien. We pulled him down like, stop. Not here, not now. We're not in the upper level. We got to be quiet. We got to be quiet. So anyway, just a fun little story from that game.
I love it. William Ham is a great dude. By the way. He really is a great guy. And like I said, I could not have done.
Is he a friend of the show?
Oh, yeah, William Ham, I'm sure is a friend of the show.
Friend of yours? Yeah. Okay, all right, good deal. Good deal. All right, fair enough.
Oh man, well. I'm excited to see all these guys, Adam. I think we've got a really good football team, and we're going to see. We're going to see pretty quickly what we're made of.
Oh yeah, we will.
When we trot into Atlanta Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Yes.
Hey, look, now's the time that we're done with the preseason chatter, Clark.
Yeah,
that right over. There officially. The last few minutes of this episode is ending the preseason talk. I love it, man. That's exciting. Hey, we're done with talking season. It's time to show up and show out, baby.
That's right.
Defend that national championship, and Georgia fans going to walk into that dome, that Mercedes-Benz Stadium with some swagger like none other. I'll talk about that later. And it's just going to be great. Okay. So, hey, that's the guys that we look like just from the outside looking in, who we expect to see starting on the September 3rd against Oregon. So
let's do it.
Woo, let's do it. I'm out of breath, baby.
Okay. Let's switch gears again, and we're going to talk about a pick'em.
This is our first pick'em, baby.
Yes, first pick'em.
Week 0.
Week 0 games right here coming up. Not a lot to choose from. Hey, man,
it's college football. Just give it to me. Just inject it in my veins. Live college football. Nothing better in God's green earth. God, the good Lord, has blessed us with some college football, baby. I love it.
College football really is the best worldly thing
you dang right. Think of. You dang right.
Oh, man. All right, we've got a great game. I mean, just
tell me
blockbuster game.
Tell me about it.
Nebraska versus Northwestern.
I love that, man. I love that game.
Listen to this, Adam. Okay. 12:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
Fox Network in Dublin, Ireland.
Wait. Did you say 12:30 a.m.?
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
I thought we going to have to get up at midnight?
That is sorry.
Okay.
PM.
PM. Okay. All right. 12:30 p.m. Well, I didn't know. I mean, that was plausible because I don't know what the time zone differential is in Ireland and where we needed to kick that football off or at what time it needed to be in the good old US of A. But do you think the Irish are fired up about this game?
You know, Adam,
where is the connection for Nebraska football and Northwestern Wildcat football to go play in Ireland and really get the Irish faithful fired up?
I believe they've been doing this for a couple of years.
Right.
And this is the first year
Boston
since
College
and Georgia
Notre
Tech.
Dame. And some guys with some connections to the Irish. I understand.
Yeah. Maybe Georgia will go to Dublin one day.
Yeah, hey, that'd be a heck of a road trip, man. If we can afford it. I don't know. But Nebraska and Northwestern, Clark, excited. I love opening week because everybody believes, Clark. I don't care where you're at. I don't care if you're at Vanderbilt and Clark Lee's Vanderbilt
They really believe.
You're going to be believing, baby. You're going to be believing. I love that. Everybody 0-0. It's a fresh new slate. Scott Frost has got to have a big year, Clark, if he wants to stay the head coach of his alma mater. Oh, the old Cornhuskers over there. Oh, the Nebraska's crazy about some football. Haven't been relevant in years, never will be again. God bless them. The landscape, their time's just done. Tom Osborne ain't coming back, baby. And Scott Frost, the guy who was going to try to bring back those glory years, is just on some thin ice, Clark. Has to have a heck of a year this year to keep his job. Against Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald on the opposite hand, another guy who is coaching his team that he's an alumnus of, who will have a lifetime full-time contract there, no matter what they do. Nebraska wins that football game, Clark. I think too much pressure is on Scott Frost. I think they actually will be decent. The Texas transfer, Casey Thompson, is named the starting quarterback. Northwestern's Northwestern. But, hey, I will say Nebraska got beat. That caused them – I mean, they were the best 3-9 football team to ever play last year. The best 3-9 football team
and they'll
ever.
let you know.
Let me just say that. Yeah. So, but got beat by Brett Belima in Illinois on week 0 in Lincoln last year because I was cutting some hay and I was listening to it on the tractor because I was so deprived for some football. Yeah. And so I tuned in like a local radio station in Nebraska to hear it. So that's why I remember that. But I will pick Nebraska to win that football game.
Adam, I would go against the grain just to make it interesting, but I'm going to go with Nebraska too. I like their colors. So.
Yeah,
and they're the Cornhuskers. I mean, how can you not like? I don't know anything about their football team.
They're feeling like it's 95 again in Lincoln, Nebraska. So.
They were big in the 90s, weren't they?
Dang right. 1-2 national smoked Florida 62-24. Yeah, 1-1 in 94, but then beat Steve Spurrier out in Arizona 62-24 in the national championship game.
Golly. In a national championship game?
Yes, a 95 national championship game. Yes, 62. I mean, just embarrassed them.
Man,
it was great.
Well. That gives me even more of a reason to pull for Nebraska.
That's right.
Oh, man. Okay, this game I'm actually really excited about, Adam. You brought this up before we started this episode, and I was like, dadgummit, we've got to pick this one.
Let's do it.
Vanderbilt at Hawaii, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, CBS, in Aloha Stadium out in Oahu.
I love it, man. I love this football game. I think they have a new stadium over there on the island. Love some Hawaii football. Got to play them in the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
I remember the old Timmy Chang years. Timmy Chang, fun fact, actually beat Alabama on the island one year. Pre-Nick Saban years. I think it was in 02 and 03. Alabama, I think, was the last SEC team to travel out to the island to play Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors, during the regular season, and actually got beat one of those games because they were on probation, couldn't go to a bowl game in 02 and 03. So they said, hey, let's just take our players to Hawaii in back-to-back years. But actually lost one of them. Fun fact, Alabama did. I will go with Vanderbilt also losing on the island. Even though Clark Lee is fired up about this team, I don't know anything about Hawaii football. I don't know who their coach is anymore. I know it's not June Jones anymore, who it used to be when we played them in the Sugar Bowl and when Timmy Chang was there and Colt Brennan and all those guys, and when they were winning some whack.
Yes.
Some whack conference championships over there in the old Western Athletic Conference. But I'm just going to go jet lag. Jet lag with Clark Lee's Vanderbilt team.
In the game.
Jet lag, and on the island, it's going to get raucous on the island. I think the natives are going to be really fired up about this game, opening up a new stadium, really just getting jacked about some Hawaii Rainbow Warrior football. And I really don't know that Vanderbilt's going to have an answer for it, Clark. They're going to be on. I do not think the Vanderbilt Commodores and Clark Lee, they're going to lose by 10 points.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about Hawaii. I'm just going to say they're going to lose by 10. I can't bring myself to pick. I don't care who they're playing. I can't bring myself to pick Vanderbilt to win a football game. The Fighting Clark Lees to win a football game. But hey, they might do it. I hope they do. God bless them. And it'd be a bad look for the SEC to go down to the island and get beat.
I'm pulling for Hawaii. I love the colors, the green and black. We're at Franklin County. Shout out to them. We're green and black, and our
high school, our high school alumni. For those who don't know,
yes. So, and we're going. Caitlin and I we're going to Hawaii next year.
Who is the Hawaii head coach? Let me look this. Is it Timmy Chang? Timmy Chang was a heck of a quarterback on NCAA football 2003 on the PlayStation 2.
Another reason why
he was a good. He broke some records.
Another reason why I love Hawaii. Is because they're my go-to dynasty team with NCAA football.
Oh, it is Timmy Chang.
It is.
Sorry, coach. All right, that changes it. Fun and gun, aired out. Timmy freaking Chang and the Hawaii Warriors are going to win the football. Hey, look at Timmy Chang. He beat Alabama one time.
Okay, so
he was a quarterback.
Did he come back?
He had some huge records.
He played.
He played at Hawaii, and June Jones was his coach, and then June Jones coached against us in the Sugar Bowl.
Okay.
And when Colt Brennan, rest in peace, God bless him, he's no longer with us, was a quarterback that night. But Timmy Chang is one of the most historic quarterbacks in Hawaii football history. So now he's the head coach, like Kirby coming back to his home to lead. A big deal on the island.
Do you think this is the year Timmy Chang
I don't
leads
know.
his team to a national championship?
But I was like, I sat here and thought, I was like, I think Timmy Chang's the head coach over there. And now seeing it, that Timmy Chang is the man. Let's go. Definitely give me Hawaii. I might even put a couple bucks on this game now that I know that Timmy Chang's the head man over there. And they're playing in the island. Man. All right. Sorry.
We're going with it. I like it.
Love it.
Both picking Hawaii. All right, last game there are only 3 really, I guess, interesting games.
But yeah, hey, it's football. I don't care. I love week 0.
Football.
Let's go, baby.
Yes. Wyoming at Illinois, 4:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Big Ten Network.
Okay. Okay. Is this in Champaign?
Yes.
It's Champaign. Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right, Clark, who you going with, man?
I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Oh, are you? Okay. All right. I like that. Is Josh Allen playing again?
Yeah,
is he coming back?
Maybe.
Is he coming back?
I don't know anything about these 2 teams other than Brett Bielema. This is year 2 for him.
This is Brett Bielema's year 2. I think, I'm just going to go with the Fighting Illini.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the big win in Champaign. Right. I think the guys, the locals over there in Champaign are getting juiced about some Illini football.
Yeah.
Big Brett, second year. Won a big week 0 game in Lincoln, as I just talked about, in Lincoln, Nebraska last year in his first game with the Fighting Illini, as a matter of fact. And I think the tradition's going, and it is a known fact that Brett Bielema is a big week 0 coach.
Ooh,
you don't pick against Brett Bielema in week 0.
Okay.
So I therefore am not going to pick against Brett Bielema in week 0. Fighting Illini win that football game, Clark, by a touchdown.
Give me a final. Give me a final.
I'm gonna go with it's gonna be knocking off some rust in week 0. I'm gonna go with a 21 to 14 win.
Okay.
21 to 14, Fighting Illini, bam.
I like it.
Brett Bielema, week 0.
Well,
got to pick one. Can't pick against them. So they go, all right, we'll see. We'll see. I love that, though.
The Cowboys logo, the Wyoming Cowboys, it's so weird. Are they the Cowboys?
Yeah,
right?
they are the Cowboys.
Their logo,
brown and yellow color scheme.
Their logo is just so weird. You have to do a double take to actually see what it is, but it is a cowboy riding a horse.
It is.
So.
It is. Anyway, bareback rodeo cowboy. I think is what it is.
Okay. Oh gosh. Well, that pretty much wraps up our show. We thank y'all once again for tuning in.
Sir,
we appreciate it. Next week we'll have another one of these out ready for you guys. It will be our Oregon preview. We're going to walk through what we think is going to happen in the game. Give y'all predictions. We're going to have more picks.
Yes.
Another pick 'em.
And the important, most pivotal part of the Row 60 Show, Game of the Week, will be starting next week.
Yes.
We will pick our Game of the Week next week.
Yes. And don't forget, once again, call-in show is Friday, September 2nd, 8:00 p.m. Find us on Facebook or YouTube. Call us 706-389-5486.
Yes, sir.
We look forward to hearing from y'all. Adam.
Clark, let me just tell you right now, man, we've had to get through these shows. We've done these shows. It's been fun with these shows, but it's a lot of these kind of like just business items, like checklist stuff we have to do. We got to talk about these games, just kind of do this kind of thing, and where we need this information get out to the people. Next week, Clark, is when it starts, when the madness starts, when the pandemonium starts. Like, me and you don't have this, like, just these notes to go over. It's just going from the heart, man, with it. It's game week, man. And we talked about it. God, it's going to be forever until we get back in that swing, till we get in that routine where we start those game week shows that me and you love to do. But hey, it's here, brother. It's here, baby. Hey, man, life could not get any better, Clark. When you have just the blessings that the good Lord has given us, man, it is very exciting. Everybody just to relish in it. I know I've talked about this before, but it's that time of year again that you go out there, baby, and you get fired up about some college football, some Georgia football, defending the national championship. Everybody go out there and get ready. Next Wednesday, we're going to be bringing you our first pre-game episode coming up. It's going to be wild. Let us hear from you. Call in and tell us everything about it, what you're thinking about, what your plans are for the game, and it's time to let the big dog eat, baby. Get fired up, get focused. Go Dogs, baby.
Go Dogs.